Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 143 based on novel. So let's start. However, the green dragon didn't know. After it jumped into the pit, it immediately became aware of the suction and began to struggle. Lightning bolts shot from its body, and bolts of lightning as big as a bucket landed on the cliff. Large amounts of rocks were blown off from the sides of the pit. The deeper inside the pit, the stronger the suction force became. The green dragon struggled as the lightning around him resisted the suction force. Just as it was about to charge out, its head suddenly turned and saw Wang Lin, who was carefully controlling his speed along the wall below it. The dragon suddenly let out a roar. It gave up on escaping and charged straight at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression became even more gloomy and he secretly cursed. This dragon didn't even know the danger it was facing. It felt the incredible suction force and still didn't run. Instead, after it saw Wang Lin, it gave up the opportunity to leave. There is this much hatred. Wang Lin stopped the celestial spiritual energy inside his body and was immediately pulled by the suction. He quickly sank, causing the green dragon to miss, and then it chased after Wang Lin. One person and one dragon went down the pit and gradually went deeper and deeper. Wang Lin immediately became aware that the suction coming from the bottom was becoming stronger, as if a storm was brewing. A roar came from behind Wang Lin as the green dragon opened its mouth. A giant ball of lightning came out and shot straight at Wang Lin. The ball of lightning moved with the might of an army and smashed toward Wang Lin like divine retribution. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he was about to dodge. However, the incoming ball of lightning suddenly paused before moving out of its original flight path and went slightly down. Wang Lin's expression changed, and he immediately felt an unimaginable suction force coming from below him. At this moment, he no longer hesitated. He slapped his bag of holding and the three swords flew out. They formed a formation and stabbed into the wall, reinforcing each other. Wang Lin's hand tightly gripped onto a sword. At the instant he grabbed onto the sword, the suction from below him suddenly erupted. The first thing to change directions was the ball of lightning. It went straight down and was sucked into the depths of the pit. The ball of lightning gave off light that lit up the lower part of this pit. Wang Lin looked down and only saw an bottomless pit. Soon, the light faded and the ball of lightning disappeared. The ancient thunder dragon was startled, and for the first time, fear appeared in its eyes. It no longer tried to swallow Wang Lin but struggled to fly upwards. It was afraid. In its ancient memory inheritance, it had seen something similar before. It let out a fierce roar and lightning covered its body. It managed to resist some of the suction force around it and flew up 30 feet. Want to run? Wang Lin's eyes became cold. If it wasn't for the thunder dragon, how could he be forced to come inside here? If it wasn't for the thunder dragon naively chasing him down the pit, he would have already left. Now, at this distance, it was simply impossible for Wang Lin to rush out. Stop for me. Wang Lin let out a roar as the celestial spiritual energy inside his body surged and activated the celestial stop spell. If it was in the past, even if the thunder dragon was stopped, it would be only for an instant and it wouldn't care. However, right now it was completely different. The thunder dragon's body paused for a moment. It let out an unwilling roar and was pulled down by the huge suction force for more than 100 feet. You won't be able to run. Wang Lin's eyes become cold. His body was being pulled down by the suction force. As he rapidly sank, the three swords that were inside the wall were dragged down as well, creating 3 deep cuts in the wall. Stop. Wang Lin activated the spell again. The thunder dragon struggled and the lightning flickered like crazy. It was trying to fly back up. If it wasn't for Wang Lin, it really could have rushed back out. However, every time it rushed up a bit, Wang Lin would immediately stop it. The thunder dragon was surrounded by the suction force, so no matter how much it struggled, it was useless. Due to the suction force, all of the attacks it threw at Wang Lin couldn't even get near him before they were pulled into the pit. It could only stare at Wang Lin while it despaired and was pulled into the pit. Just at this moment, the suction force suddenly increased. This suction force was several times stronger than before and pulled like crazy. Wang Lin felt like his arms were going to be torn off, but he clung to the sword. The three swords grinded against the wall, leaving behind deep cuts. However, this suction force was too great, so the buffer created by the three swords was rapidly dissipating. Sensing the crisis, Wang Lin clenched his teeth and immediately sent a part of his divine sense into his bag of holding. The celestial sword and half-moon blade immediately flew out. They stabbed into the wall under Wang Lin's feet. Wang Lin stood on the two swords and rapidly sank. Sounds of friction echoed in the pit as 5 deep cuts were dragged down the wall along with Wang Lin. Looking at the Thunder Dragon now, even though it was struggling, it still sank like a meteor. It couldn't even keep its shape. It had been stretched into a long stream of green gas. There were faint green lights coming from the green gas. The green gas had been sucked deep into the pit, and it faintly lit up the surroundings. Go down, that strange, female voice came from Wang Lin's bag into his mind again. Wang Lin's expression was extremely gloomy as he looked down, but his expression changed. Borrowing the light from the green gas, he could vaguely see a shadow sticking out horizontally. At this moment, the green light illuminated this shadow. Wang Lin was able to see that it was a large rock sticking out from the wall. This rock was about 100 feet wide, and there was a transfer array on it. Before Wang Lin could take a closer look, the green light weakened. Without the light, this large rock retreated back into the darkness. Transfer array. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. Unfortunately, he couldn't spread out his divine sense, or else he could have seen everything clearly. Wang Lin suddenly felt that the celestial sword was gone from under his feet, and shortly after, the half-moon blade did the same. There is a crack. Wang Lin immediately felt ecstasy, and without any hesitation, he swung toward the wall. His body immediately entered the hole in the wall. As expected, there was a 10-foot crack in the wall, and Wang Lin quickly entered it. After entering, he immediately retrieved the three swords, the celestial sword, and the half-moon blade as fast as possible. When the Thunder Dragon's soul that had already turned into green gas saw Wang Lin enter the crack, it immediately began to struggle. As the green gas churned, it condensed into a dragon once more. It let out a roar and rushed toward the crack Wang Lin was in. This time it didn't want to devour Wang Lin, it wanted to enter the crack to avoid the suction force. It activated all the thunder energy in its body as it charged toward the crack like crazy. However, the suction force was too powerful, so it was almost impossible for it to reach the crack. The Thunder Dragon revealed a decisive gaze, then its body suddenly split in half. The bottom half was sucked deep into the pit, while the upper half used that moment to rush toward the crack. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. Just as he felt relief inside the crack, he saw the Thunder Dragon coming over. At this moment, all he needed was one stop spell and it would make the Thunder Dragon despair as it was sucked away by the suction force. The Thunder Dragon was obviously aware of this, so it opened its mouth to spit out a ball of lightning. If it was successful in spitting it out, Wang Lin would naturally have no place to dodge. Everything would depend on who was faster in activating their spell between this dragon and human. However, Wang Lin had other plans. He personally saw the dragon give up half its body, and more than half of its current power was being used to resist the suction force. It could be said that right now was the Thunder Dragon's weakest moment. Wang Lin clenched his teeth, and without any hesitation he closed his eyes and his origin soul flew out. Just as this Thunder Dragon entered the crack and was about to spit out the ball of lightning, Wang Lin's origin soul devoured the Thunder Dragon. Wang Lin was once an soul devourer that could devour every soul in the world. However, as his cultivation level increased, he gradually stopped using this technique. At this moment, his origin soul expanded greatly. The Thunder Dragon was completely stunned when Wang Lin devoured it. After devouring the ancient Thunder Dragon's soul, Wang Lin's origin soul immediately returned to his body. At this moment, there was a powerful explosion inside his soul. Even with only half of its spirit body, the power of the ancient Thunder Dragon was still unimaginable. After Wang Lin devoured it, he activated the Soul Devourer's spell to quickly absorb it. Bursts of lightning moved inside and outside of Wang Lin's origin soul, displaying the might of thunder and lightning. It even penetrated into his flesh and bones. The suction force didn't have much effect inside the crack, so Wang Lin put all his attention into absorbing the Thunder Dragon. His origin soul was constantly growing. This wasn't a growth in quantity but in quality. Wang Lin's origin was surrounded by lighting. There was a long, ancient Thunder Dragon extending inside his origin soul like veins. This Thunder Dragon's expression was extremely painful, and there was even trace of ferocity on its face. Strands of branches extended from the Thunder Dragon toward all corners of Wang Lin's origin soul. The power of the Thunder Dragon was changing Wang Lin's origin soul in a mysterious way. Even people like the All-Seer wouldn't dare to devour an ancient Thunder Dragon. This was because this Thunder Dragon wasn't like any other ancient beast. Rumor had it that the ancient Thunder Dragons were born from thunder and were the darlings of the heavens. There was even a period of time where they controlled the power of thunder for the heavens. Devouring this ancient Thunder Dragon was the same as devouring a sky filled with thunder. How could a cultivator's origin soul withstand this kind of thunder? However, the other side of peril was endless opportunity. Wang Lin's origin soul was surrounded by the lightning from the Thunder Dragon, and a large amount of thunder gathered in Wang Lin's body. As the rumbling continued, a trace of thunder appeared in Wang Lin's origin soul. His origin was in an incredible state, and it was going an earth-shaking change. This change perhaps wouldn't improve his cultivation, but it would open up endless paths for Wang Lin in the future. An origin soul that contained thunder. Even the All-Seer had never seen a cultivator that had managed to achieve this. The Thunder Dragon inside Wang Lin's origin soul struggled intensely, affecting Wang Lin's origin soul. It hadn't given in yet, and it launched a counterattack. Wang Lin's body and hair began to float into the air as if guided by some mysterious energy. Bursts of lightning came from his body and quickly scattered into the walls of the cliff. His origin soul was filled with lightning. The ancient Thunder Dragon was unwilling to yield, making the devouring process filled with danger. The Thunder Dragon continued to struggle, and the more it struggled, the stronger the lightning it gave off became. Powerful lightning caused Wang Lin's origin soul to reach a state of imminent collapse. If it wasn't for his stubborn perseverance, a normal person's origin soul would have already collapsed. Wang Lin's origin soul suddenly opened his tightly closed eyes. His eyes gave off a burst of lightning as if he was the ancient Thunder Dragon. He had a feeling that if his origin soul stayed inside his body would be directly affected, which would lead to his death. His origin soul immediately flew out of his body. He revealed a decisive look, and without any hesitation, his hand reached into his origin soul. He grabbed the Thunder Dragon and dragged out a small portion of it. The Thunder Dragon suddenly let out a roar, causing Wang Lin's origin soul to emit a large amount of lightning. The lightning landed on the walls, creating many crackling sounds. Holding part of the Thunder Dragon, Wang Lin's eyes became cold. His left hand moved, creating a large amount of restrictions that landed on that part of the Thunder Dragon. After doing this, Wang Lin reached into his origin soul and grabbed another section. He continued to place restrictions on it. With external forces helping his origin soul, this cycle of sealing and devouring continued. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin became completely immersed in fusing with the Thunder Dragon and became oblivious to the outside world. His body gradually lost its luster and slowly withered. However, it didn't die. It had entered a suspended animation state in order to ensure his vitality wasn't lost. Day by day, year by year passed. On this day, the Thunder Dragon inside Wang Lin's origin wall wasn't struggling as violently, but it was still struggling. However, there were countless restrictions flashing on its body. They stacked together and formed the seal of the dragon. Wang Lin's origin soul had gradually shrunk throughout the years. It was now only 3 feet tall, only as big as a cultivator's nascent soul. Although his origin soul had shrunk, it gave off the power of thunder. It was no longer crystal clear but emitted endless lightning bolts. It was as if there were millions of silver snakes moving inside his origin soul. Wang Lin opened his eyes and thunderous rumbling sounds echoed around him. Then 2 rays of lightning shot out from his eyes like 2 dragons and disappeared into the darkness. His origin soul moved and arrived next to his body. When Wang Lin glanced at his own body, lightning flashed across his eyes. His eyes gave off the pressure of coldness and indifference. All of the muscles on his body had already withered away, so he was like a bag of bones right now. If it wasn't for the sliver of vitality coming from between his eyebrows, this body would have already become a corpse. His origin soul floated above his body and gradually entered it. When he was entering his body, he felt a barrier blocking him. Fortunately, this barrier dissipated a moment later, so he was able to successfully enter his body. In an instant, lightning came from his body and moved throughout his body. His muscles recovered at rate visible to the naked eye. In an instant, he returned to normal, only he looked slightly thinner compared to before. Wang Lin let out a mouthful of foul air. This air was grey and also contained lightning. His eyes were as bright as a lightning bolt streak across the sky. He began to deeply ponder. This trip was very dangerous, but my harvest was beyond imagination. Although I don't know if this is good or bad. My origin soul completely transformed. Now my origin soul is more like a bolt of divine retribution lightning. Wang Lin pondered even harder. Then he raised his head and looked outside the crack. An origin soul that transformed into lightning. It is interesting. Now if someone wants to destroy my origin soul, it will be like trying to destroy divine retribution lightning. Although my cultivation is still at the early stage of ascendant after this opportunity, it gave me the power of thunder. Wang Lin raised his right hand. Lightning filled his hand and quickly formed a ball of lightning. Sound of explosions came from inside the ball of lightning. Clearly it was not very stable. A moment later, the ball of lightning collapsed. Then Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he swallowed it. There was a hint of red on his face, but it gradually returned to normal. However, what exactly is my current origin soul? Wang Lin's eyes were filled with confusion. He never thought that devouring that half of the Thunder Dragon would cause his origin soul to change in such a strange way. He wasn't able to completely absorb the Thunder Dragon. He had only managed to absorb 1/5, and the rest was sealed inside his origin soul. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin tried out all of his spells. He could still use all of his spells, including the Underworld River. Only after this did Wang Lin let out a sigh of relief. However, he immediately felt that there was a difference. Although the spells were no different from before on the surface, if one observed carefully, there was the power of thunder in all of them. A strand of very powerful thunder. Wang Lin frowned. Increasing the strength of his spells was a good thing. Also, this increase in power wasn't just a little. With his current spells, he could be standing among the top of mid-stage ascendant cultivators. Along with his magical treasures, he could even battle with late-stage ascendant cultivators. However, Wang Lin still felt like something was wrong, as if something was forgotten. He pondered for a long time, and that feeling was still there. He stood up and walked toward the exit of the crack. It was completely dark outside, and the sound of the suction force was like the wailing of ghosts. The closer he came to the exit, the stronger that voice became. Looking outside the crack, it was as if a bolt of lightning flashed across Wang Lin's mind, and he suddenly knew why he felt that something was wrong. Why was there that barrier when my origin soul tried to return to my body? Wang Lin's expression was extremely ugly. The scattered devil was still sealed in his origin soul, so it was impossible for it to be a possession. It also didn't look like his origin soul had been robbed. It seems like the problem is my origin soul. Wang Lin planned for his origin soul to leave his body again, but his expression immediately changed. My origin soul can't leave my body. Wang Lin immediately took a few steps back and sat down in the lotus position. He tried several times before opening his eyes. He was not flustered and he calmly pondered. It is still that barrier blocking my origin soul from leaving. Could this be the price after the origin soul mutated? Wang Lin took a deep breath. Forget it, let's not think about it now. Let's have a look at this token. What kind of spell did it have to condense from the mist? Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and a purple token appeared in his hand. This token was completely purple and there was a trace of golden lighting within it. It looked like a piece of purple gold. When touching it, one could feel that it was neither wood nor gold texture. The universe was simply too big for someone to recognize every single material. Wang Lin didn't focus too much on what the token was made of and carefully looked at its appearance. There were some broken runes on the surface of the token. After a moment of hesitation, Wang Lin scanned it with his divine sense and revealed a strange expression. Storage. There was a unique space inside the token. Although the space inside was filled with purple mist, it was indeed a storage device. There was only one thing inside, and that was a sword. It wasn't a celestial sword, but one of the swords from the 12 swords. After thinking about it, Wang Lin deduced that this sword came from the last Da Lu sword disciple trapped inside the mist. For some reason, when that disciple was sacrificed to the token, the sword was absorbed by the token. With a thought, the sword flew out and stabbed into the ground beside Wang Lin. After carefully searching the space inside the token, Wang Lin withdrew his divine sense. He looked at the token and began to ponder. Aside from the material of this token, there is nothing surprising about it. If I hadn't seen it form from the mist directly, it would be difficult to imagine that this thing is something people like the All-Seer, Ling Tianhu, and the Blood Ancestor want to steal. This token is the key to opening the cave. Only with the 4 fake caves open can the final door be opened. According to Yarrow Shishue, the All-Seer and company don't know that a 4th fake cave exists. But the Blood Ancestor knows this. Chen Long and Greed know that I obtained the token. However, Chen Long didn't see everything. If I were him, I would think that Greed would have taken the token in the end. After taking a deep breath, Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. Looking out of the crack at the pitch-black darkness outside, he revealed a bitter expression. Even if I got the token, what's the use when I'm trapped here and can't get out? There is no need to try to teleport when even people as cunning as Greed didn't teleport once. I just don't know if I can enter the cave from here. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed as he touched his bag of holding and a crystal appeared in his hand. After a long time, Wang Lin let out a sigh and bitterly smiled. I'm unable to activate it. He pondered a bit and looked around. This crack wasn't big, only few dozen feet wide. He was able to clearly see everything with one look. Shortly after, he stood up and arrived at the entrance of the crack. The suction force outside never stopped. After moving a little bit more forward, he could clearly feel it, and even his body showed signs of being sucked in. Wang Lin backed up. His eyes flickered. I wonder how the mosquito beast is doing right now. Also, what is the result of the battle between Senior Ju Yi and Greed? However, even if Ju Yi won, he still won't know where I am. After all, even his sword divine sense can't reach here. He looked up at the wall and his body moved as he attempted to use the Earth Escape spell. However, as soon as his body touched the wall, he was stopped. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin landed on the ground and slapped his bag of holding. He took out the soul flag, took out a soul, threw it at the wall, and carefully observed. That soul floated into the wall like a strand of smoke, but Wang Lin immediately felt a miserable scream from the soul. It was as if the soul that went inside was torn into pieces and was immediately sucked toward the bottom by the strong suction force. Danger spot. The bitterness in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger. He let out a sigh and sat down on the ground in the lotus position with a gloomy expression. Shortly after, he touched his bag of holding and 3 swords, a severed arm, and a skull immediately flew out. The 3 swords were from the 12 swords, and adding the one inside the token, they were the snake, horse, chicken, and dog. Wang Lin currently had 7 of the 12 swords. The 3 sword formation also flew out from Wang Lin's bag and fell beside him. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the 7 swords immediately flew around him. He opened his mouth to spit out some origin energy. The origin energy wrapped around the 7 swords. There was an extra strand of thunder inside his origin energy. After it touched the swords, lightning moved throughout the swords. The 7 swords were also connected by lightning, forming a mysterious sword formation. 7 swords can form the 7-star sword formation. Also, with my thunder linking them, the power of the sword formation will increase by 30%. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. With his origin energy refining the swords, he no longer had to pay any attention to them. He then turned around and looked at the severed arm and head. The origin soul of the owner and also Ling Tianho's sword energy were sealed inside them. Wang Lin was very experienced in refining souls and extracting the sword energy. 2 mouthfuls of origin energy allowed Wang Lin to extract Ling Tianho's sword energy and devour it. Normally, after devouring Ling Tianho's sword energy, his origin soul would feel waves of pain and would only stop after he recovered for a bit. However, right now, after devouring 2 sword energies in a row, not only did his origin soul not feel any discomfort, it actually felt very comfortable. After checking his origin soul and finding nothing wrong, Wang Lin wryly smiled to himself. Can this still be considered an origin soul? He once again touched his bag of holding and took out a sphere of restrictions. The small sphere grew after it came out, and by the time it landed, it was 5 feet tall already. There were countless restrictions flashing on the sphere. Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and then pointed at the sphere. A restriction sphere began to split down the middle as if a flower was blooming, revealing a handsome man inside. This person was the Red Division's Du Jian. His eyes were closed and his face was pale. After the restrictions were lifted, he opened his eyes and stared at Wang Lin. It took a long time before his empty eyes slowly regained their color. However, after checking himself, he immediately found that his origin soul had been sealed. Right now he had basically become immortal. Wang Lin's voice was calm as he slowly said, "Senior brother Du, you can tell me Master's secret now." Du Jian revealed a bitter expression. He looked at Wang Lin with a complex expression. After silently pondering for a bit, he said, "Even if I talked, I'm afraid it would be difficult to avoid death." Wang Lin's gaze swept Du Jian. A hint of lightning appeared in Wang Lin's eyes and penetrated Du Jian's eyes. This caused Du Jian's mind to become shocked. He pointed at Wang Lin and exclaimed, Your eyes." Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and calmly said, "Senior brother Du, my patience has a limit." It was as if Du Jian hadn't heard Wang Lin at all, and his eyes were filled with aghast. He still hadn't recovered from Wang Lin's gaze. Du Jian had encountered a lot of cultivators and even seen a lot of powerful cultivators. He had seen cultivators whose eyes had lightning within them. However, all of that lightning was created by spells. Although it was still lightning, it couldn't compare to the heaven's lightning. However, at that moment, the lightning from Wang Lin's eyes made him felt like he was standing below the vast sky and looking up at a thunderbolt. It was the feeling of not knowing what to do when dealing with the might of the heavens. Wang Lin frowned. He no longer wanted to deal with this nonsense, so he grabbed Du Jian and dragged him toward the opening of the crack. Near the opening, Du Jian became aware of the huge suction force. Even with his cultivation, he felt like his origin soul was about to be pulled out of his body. He began to exclaim due to the terror. "Speak." Wang Lin's sentence was simple. There was only one word. Du Jian's expression became even paler, and the shadow of death enveloped his body. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he grabbed Du Jian and pulled him toward the opening of the crack once more. Du Jian suddenly felt the suction from outside by increase 10 times. At this moment, his origin soul was pulled out from his body and left his body. No matter how hard his origin soul struggled, it was still being slowly pulled out of his body. Du Jian's trembling body shouted, "I'll speak. I'll speak." Wang Lin pulled back his right hand, threw Du Jian to the side, and coldly looked at him. Du Jian trembled slightly as his origin soul gradually returned to his body. His eyes contained fear as he said, "I'll tell you everything I know, but you have to promise not to kill me." Wang Lin calmly said, "It's possible to not kill you, as I have other uses for you." Du Jian took a deep breath as he looked at Wang Lin with a complex expression and said, "Swear on your Tao." Wang Lin frowned as he coldly looked at Du Jian. He slowly raised his right hand and was about to throw him toward the opening of the crack. Du Jian's body trembled and he quickly said, "I saw Master devour Sun Yun." Wang Lin's eyes glowed brightly as he silently stared at Du Jian. "I didn't see it personally, but a mountain goblin saw it. After I entered the Heavenly Fate sect, I cultivated a technique that could absorb spiritual energy from beasts. I was in the back mountains when I found a mountain goblin that was nearing the end of its life. As I was absorbing its spiritual energy, I extracted some of its memories for some reason. There was one scene from its memory from a long time ago, and that was when Master devoured Sun Yun." Wang Lin was startled. Du Jian quickly said, "In the memory, Sun Yun and Master had a huge fight, but in the end, Master used a spell that devoured Sunyun, then he left. This was his biggest secret. When he saw the memory that day, he was completely shocked, and at the same time, fear appeared in his heart. This was why he respected and feared the All-Seer all this time. This secretly was buried deep inside his heart, and it was the first time he had told anyone. Wang Lin asked, "What was Master's expression like back then?" "This." "It looked like there was regret, it should be regret." Du Jian carefully recalled before hesitating as if he was thinking of something. Then he said, "However, there was something strange about Master inside the mountain goblin's memory. I have never seen Master wear grey before." Wang Lin's eyes glowed even brighter as he stared at Du Jian and said, "Word for word, are you sure he was wearing a grey robe?" Du Jian nodded and said, "That's right, it was a grey robe." This video will end here.